It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM, and it's time to talk some baseball action now. Back with us is, of course, Dave Penrose from Baseball Australia, and we've got a bit on our agenda today. Dave, how are you, mate?
Yeah, going well, mate. About to head into another tournament, so plenty happening.
Well, let's talk about that to start with. You'd think the season's over for baseball, that things had settled down, but no way known. Is that the case? There's lots of tournament play going on at the moment, and we've just come out of one big tournament for the women, and they're about to go into another.
Yeah, they certainly are. So heading into the second ever Australian Women's Baseball Showcase. So we saw this one last year in Adelaide, but we're headed off to Geelong, which is a really nice place to go, and it's been a while since we've had a national tournament there. They're heading off, and we've got an expanded showcase this time. So we went from the two teams where we had the Adelaide Giants and Brisbane Bandits 12 months ago to three teams with the Victoria Aces entering the fold this year. So it means a little bit more opportunity for some of our top women, and we've also got 7 import players from around the world heading down as well.
Outstanding. So there'll be 3 teams playing. How many games have they got scheduled down there in Geelong over that few days?
Yeah, so across 4 days there'll be 7 games all up. So every team will play a double header at some point, and also just single games on 2 other days. But 4 pool games all up, and then the top 2 teams will head into a final, all going well, on the Sunday. I do understand a bit of bad weather might be on the way in the area, and I know all too well how the rain hits in Geelong, because it did that last time we were there for a big event when Team Australia played the Doosan Bears. So fingers crossed we'll be avoiding that and get all 7 games in.
Yep, when it rains in Geelong, it's like turning the shower on. It just falls straight down, and if there's a wind, it's even worse. But
I'm still thawing out from last time, and that was at the start of 2020. That was pre-COVID, and I'm still not quite there. So fingers crossed we stay away from that this time.
Well, that's fantastic. I should talk about the Women's National Championships, which were held in Adelaide. We talked about that. The South Aussie girls missed out on defending their bronze medal, but the medalists have been decided. The final was run and won. It was a great tournament. Who walked away with the win?
Yeah, so against the odds, it was New South Wales in the end. So they stunned Victoria, who'd gone through the opening round without defeat, and it was a tense game that won the championship game, and New South Wales pulled her away very, very late, at the top of the 7th. They were, in actual fact, down to their final 2 outs and facing the Ali Babere, who ended up being the pitching champion for the tournament from Victoria, and they were able to take some chances and pile on a stack of runs to come away with, as I said, a shock win, 6 runs in the top of the 7th there.
Wow, there you go. So Victoria went through undefeated through the minor round, and then, well, I won't use the choked word, although I just did. But yeah, they had it there to win and just couldn't get the job done. Yeah,
they definitely did have it there, and they've been so comprehensive in their victories throughout the week. So not the first time that's happened. New South Wales stunned them a few years ago in Geelong as well, but Victoria unable to add what would have been a 14th national crown to their belt.
Pressure does strange things to people at important times. So well done to New South Wales, another national championship for them. So those 2 sides have traditionally dominated. And in fact, while we're talking about diamond sports, it's not baseball, but just a quick shout out to the South Australian softball team, who broke a 66-year drought, while we're talking diamond sports, to win the national championships there recently. So it's good to see South Australia punching above its weight in any diamond sport, but in particular baseball and softball, of course, going well at senior level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and that was on home soil as well, I believe, down at West Beach. So otherwise, a stadium that looked very similar to West Beach down there. So that was a massive effort, such a long drought. So monkey off the back there for softballers, and I believe at least one, Gemma Letton, that played for SA there, and also for South Australia at the Women's Nationals in our sport. She's headed over to Geelong for the showcase this weekend. So talk about some talent.
Yep, 6-5 winners in extra innings there. But other South Australian teams that are going okay, and national tournaments. Let's talk about the kids for a moment, because I know that recently, the juniors had, in South Australia at least, qualifications for the national titles. And I think it was, one of the Marlins teams got through in the Little League. And there's a significant carrot back on the end of winning that tournament at a national level, isn't there?
There certainly is. So the Little League World Series, or the relevant World Series for the 4 different events that we have down here in Australia, the World Series events back on the table for international teams over in the US later in the year, late July into August. I think most of them run. So obviously hasn't been there, that carrot, the last couple of years, and we only returned to the national scene last year. But really awesome opportunity, and I haven't been fortunate enough to head across to Williamsport yet for the Little League World Series, but that event apparently is next level.
It is. It's broadcast live on ESPN. The Americans just absolutely lap this up. Internationally, the Japanese love it as well. And we've seen many very, very prominent Major League Baseballers get their first sort of bit of attention at the Little League World Series at Williamsport. So it's a breeding ground for greatness there at Williamsport over the many, many years. It has been. And just to get to that situation, to be able to play there, regardless of how you go in the tournament itself, would be, well, it's a big carrot for any of those teams that are at that stage.
It certainly is. And I mean, the opportunity to play at some awesome facilities over there in front of the crowd, not only on the hill out at Williamsport at the stadium there, but as you said, across ESPN's channels throughout the world, and then get to brush shoulders with big leaguers that head on down and spend some time with the kids and chill. And the Aussie kids have spoken to quite a few about it. You know, they've sort of documented it through a diary, even they've been away in the past, and they are just loved over there because of our accents and, you know, just our fighting mentality and that never say die attitude, and quite often punch above our weight. And, you know, we've had some really cool moments with some, you know, ESPN Sports Centre top 10 plays that have been done by Aussies. Oscar Hyde hitting the first homer of the tournament a few years ago, and yeah, it's another level, and it's really exciting that the opportunity will exist again this year for our national champions at the various events, but predominantly that Little League one to go on and compete on that world stage.
So win the national title, and you're going to Williamsport. Is it that simple?
Yeah, for Little League it is. So, and then obviously Junior League, Intermediate and Senior League as well have their World Series back on the table this year. So we'll send 4 teams to the US later in the year.
Fantastic. Well, we'll talk more about that in the future. But what other events have you got coming up, things for that people can put in their calendars?
Yeah, so it's the first of those Little League events. So the Australian Senior League Championship. So we'll stay down in Geelong after the Women's Showcase and get underway in the 8-team Senior League competition from the 13th of May, which is a really exciting one. Runs for 5 days through the 17th there. So the Adelaide Armada will fly the flag for South Australia in that one against quite a few tough charters from other states.
All right. And then obviously the other age groups will follow. So Senior League is that 16, 17-year-old age bracket, is that right?
Yeah, 15, 16, I think it peaks at pretty much so. And then off to Mildura for the Intermediate League Championship, which is about the 3rd or 4th year, maybe 3.5, because we didn't quite get through a tournament last year due to COVID. But
yep.
So that one's the newest on the calendar. Then back home to West Beach for the Junior League Championship before heading off to Macarthur for the Australian Little League Championship, which for a second year in a row will also feature a second division, which is really, really exciting. The second division a little bit less stringent with the rules placed on it in terms of qualification. No World Series ticket on the line, but a great opportunity for more kids at that age bracket, 10, 11, 12-year-olds to get a shot on the world stage, on the national stage. And we'll actually see a charter from the Northern Territory return to the national stage as part of that Division 2 competition this year, which is really exciting as well.
Excellent. So lots still happening in baseball across the country. Dave will catch up next week and talk about the Women's Showcase and how it went. Until then, mate, enjoy the weekend's baseball.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.